Hey, what is up, everybody? Depraved Slasher here, and we're going to kind of go over the Super Mario Maker 2 Direct. There's some things I'm curious about and things I'm worried about. Um, I'm going to try and touch on all of those subjects. I was going to do a top 10 video, but this is some stuff that I don't think really deserves a top 10 video. Because what I was going to do, I want to do top 10 videos of either things I'm super stoked about from Mario Maker 2, and then I wanted to do a top 10 video of things that concern me from what we've been told so far on Mario Maker 2. However, the problem with that is I couldn't think of 10 things in either category. So what we're going to do, we are going to check out the Mario Maker Direct. I'm going to go over things I'm excited for, things that do concern me as we proceed through the Direct. I was in Chronoside's chat during the Direct and was super excited about a lot of things, but what worries me is, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for this game. I'm going to get this game. Once again, I don't know if I'm going to get it on the day it comes out because of money situations, but I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to, like I said, I know I'm getting the game. I'm excited for it, and the things they've shown that they've added to Mario Maker 2 are amazing. Some of them I kind of am a little worried about, but for the most part, overall amazing. This is not any way to deter anyone to try and think about maybe not getting it. 100%, if you own a Switch, this is going to be a must-have. I definitely plan on doing a lot with my channel based off of it, but like I said, there's just some concerns. And things I want to know more about. And I know a lot of people, they want more. And for me, it's just more information is what I want. I don't necessarily need more added to the game, except for one glaring thing that I haven't seen anything on yet. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, so yeah, there are things I'm concerned about, but like I said, we'll go over the Direct as a whole and give our thoughts and opinions of the Direct. I know there are going to be a lot of people that agree with me on some things, a lot of people that don't agree with me on others. That's fine. If you have your own concerns, post them in the comments below. But without further ado, I guess this is technically like a reaction? Kind of? I don't know, it really wouldn't be a reaction. I already have seen this. I watched it live. But let's go ahead. It's 17 minutes long. The review and information that I have is going to be a little longer. So let's just jump into this.
Oh, yeah.
And like right here, they kind of tease us with co-op building. And I got an issue with their idea of co-op building a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh. Hey.
Stack of Goombas. Yay!
In Super Mario Maker 2, you can create the Super Mario courses of your dreams. And play courses created by other people from around the globe. In other words, you can basically have new Super Mario courses to enjoy every
Which is what
day.
everybody's getting this
Now,
game for.
Let's jump right into the basics.
Make.
Lazy
So already, here's my first actual issue with the Direct. I don't think that intro that we just spent 2.5 minutes on was necessary. They're going over the basics, and here's the thing. If you're coming to a Nintendo Mario Maker 2 Direct, chances are you know what Mario Maker is. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's too many people out there that don't know what Mario Maker is unless you're just not a gamer, right? So in hindsight, like, yeah, it's cool. I understand that they're going to go over the basics to give you an overview of what the game is about. But like I said, most of us already know. They just spent 2.5 minutes going over things that didn't need to be gone over, which could have shortened the Direct and made it go either a little bit quicker. They could have revealed some other things or shown some other things. Now, the one thing, though, that they usually do with things like that is they kind of hide Easter eggs in those trailers. I didn't personally see any. I know there's probably some people that did. I haven't scoped out the whole Reddit scene or anything like that. But that was just one of my concerns that I have with this Direct, was that it started off like that. Now, this is what everybody came for, the new stuff. So let's check out what's new. And we'll pause it periodically to talk about some of the things.
Time to showcase some of this game's new tools, course parts, and features.
Slopes.
Just pick a direction and set the length to create a slope. It's a beautiful thing, huh? Gentler slopes are an option too.
All right, so starting off, slopes. Slopes was a highly requested thing in the last game that they left out. I don't get why they left out slopes. It didn't make any sense to me. But this game does have slopes. Slopes is going to add an interesting aspect and dimension to the game. There's a lot of this stuff that's going to add so many dimensions to the game. Like, you'll see some shit coming up if you haven't watched this already. That it is just mind-blowing as far as what they've added. But yes, this is one of the things that I'm super excited about, as well as the Angry Sun that they're about to show. Angry Sun looks a little bit weird in one of the modes, or one of the themes. I don't remember which theme it is. It just looks really odd. I think it was Super Mario Brothers, not 3. Is it the regular Super Mario's looks cool. Super Mario 3 looks like it does. Maybe it was New Super Mario Brothers that it looks really freaking weird. I don't remember. But let's go.
Everyone's greatest fear, Angry Sun, is here. It holds a
This is what I was
perpetual
missing from the
grudge,
first game. I wondered why
following
they didn't add it.
attacking Mario. Remember the snake block? You can determine its trajectory by freely drawing. And woo, the blue one's really fast. Hit an on-off switch, and the red and blue blocks will swap. You'd be surprised how many uses there are. If you use them wisely, you can set up traps like this one, or even create a situation like this. Change tracks, or make conveyor belts change directions.
So, just to go over a couple of things there. So the Angry Sun, like I said, was something I was super excited about. Like I said, I don't know why they left that out of the first game. It's such a pivotal part of Super Mario Brothers 3. It just surprised me that they never brought it in. Now, as far as the on-off switch is the one thing it seems most people are most excited for. It's one of the things I'm also very excited for because it's going to give opportunities to build courses with another element for puzzles and things like that. One of the things I did not expect, like I knew the on-off switches were coming. One of the things I did not expect was the on-off switches were also going to allow you to change course on conveyors. And also, it was going to allow you to change. What did it change at the very end there?
Or make conveyor.
Yeah, change directions on conveyors and change tracks on the things that are moving. So I think that's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be used a lot in terms of Kaizo levels and creative things. It's also going to be a nightmare when people start creating the more advanced levels that I'll never be able to complete. But an amazing situation. Like I'm very glad that they added this. This was one of the things, one of the highlights to Mario Maker 2 for me is the on-off switches.
Conveyor belts change directions. Seesaws tilt left to right under Mario's weight. They're a perfect fit for risky tilt-centric courses like this one. Let it grab you. Build momentum, then jump. Mario can even use these to send himself flying. Huh, bet you could even make a crane game.
So that's two things back to back I don't really care for. I don't dislike them. I don't like them. I'm just, it's cool that they added them. I guess it's extra options. But the seesaw thing, I've never been a big fan of seesaws in Mario games. I know a lot of people probably are super excited about it. I don't care either way. And then the claw, I mean, it's cool. I guess since they can't really add like poles like they have in like Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, so you can swing back and forth to do, little things like that. But no, it's not one of those things that like when I seen it and they announced it that I was just like, oh sweet, claws and this, and it was just all right, cool. We got a couple more options. So.
In this course theme, you can freely set the water level. Maybe half the course should be underwater. Or maybe the water level should change over time? You can select from 3 different speeds. And water isn't the only thing you can flood a course with.
Now, first off, we'll do the water level and custom scroll together.
This side scroller is truly customizable, right down to the scrolling itself. In a custom scroll course, you can decide where you want the scroll to start, adjust its trajectory, and set the speed at each point. The result is nice and smooth while you're playing. You could have it go up here, then go sideways. Hey, that's fast.
So we're going to start off with this. They're adding adjustable water levels in water courses, as well as a more detailed side-scrolling feature. Both things I love. Now, as I've said before in other videos and in streams, I hate water levels in anything. Water levels are like the bane of my existence. I never do well in them, whether it's the original Ninja Turtles game. Don't even get me started on those water levels. Old Mario games, Sonic, Zelda, like the Water Temple and Ocarina of Time is the reason why I never beat that game. I couldn't get past it, at least when I was a kid. I haven't tried it as an adult. But just things like that. But it's cool to see that they're doing the adjustable water levels and then it can move. Now, something I would be interested to see and think and really wish that they would add. So for those of you that have played Odyssey, you guys know there's like, for those of you that are like that have gone through and tried to get all the moons in Odyssey, there are sections where there's like a level or a tier of water that raises or lowers, and you can actually like walk underneath it, and then when it drops down, you could jump up in it and use it almost like an elevator up to where you're supposed to go and things like that, which is a neat little thing that I don't know if it was exclusive to Odyssey or what. I don't remember them doing it in any other Mario games. But that is something I would like to see incorporated into Mario, and something that they didn't really give too many details on. And I also would like to see, as far as the raising and lowering of water levels, I would like to be able to see sections of a level where there's just a small part that has like water in it. Like you could have some water here, some water there, some water here. Not just the whole level has the raising and lowering of water levels. Now I'm sure you could probably get away with like creating subsections over the other sides of the map and corners and stuff like that. But just like I said, for me, I would just like to see a little more customization within the water. Now, the side scrolling I love. They've added some things to it to make it even better. I love, like, you could change the trajectory randomly throughout the thing, showing, that's going to direct you on where you're supposed to go. And I love that you could change the speeds. So like you can get to a certain point and like this part you're supposed to rush through. So it like speeds up really quick and you run through it and get through it. And I'm going to love to see, I'm actually looking forward and I'm going to love seeing what people do with that, and maybe even combine the water level thing and the auto scroll. Like I think that would be really cool. And here they're about to talk about verticality.
Have it go up here, then go sideways. Hey, that's fast. You can now create vertical sub-areas. Of course, the auto-scroll feature operates vertically in here.
So this is something a lot of people were excited for. It was just another one of those things that I could care less about. It's cool that they added it, and I know a lot of people probably have tons of ideas to use with vertical sub-areas, but for me, it's just like, again, it's just another feature that's added that I'm probably not going to use in my course creations. I could be wrong. I could find an absolute affinity with them. But just for the most part, it's something else that they added that I know a lot of people are excited for, so I'm happy they put it in for them. It's just for me, it's a vertical sub area. Okay.
To hide an area from view and prevent scrolling from revealing it, create a solid line of blocks perpendicular to the scroll direction. And voila! Secret room.
This is one of my favorite features they've added. In the other games, if you created something like this, in order to get this scroll stop feel the way they've got it here, you had to create thick walls, which took up more of the map and gave you less area to create in. But in this, I love that they're doing the thing where you just put up the walls and it won't scroll if you're within a room, that it only moves like that. So it takes away the thought of maybe seeing something else that might be there that you're not supposed to see yet. So like I said, this is probably one of my new favorite features as well that I'm super excited that they added.
Bonsai Bill looks like it's coming for Mario, because it is. You can select from the 4 cardinal directions. The red ones have a homing function. Watch out! Even lava doesn't faze the dry bone shell. Play dead for a sec and you'll be temporarily invincible.
Okay, so admittedly, I did not play a whole lot of Mario Maker 1. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an expert and pretend I know everything about the game, its ins and outs, all the different combinations and stuff like that. I got the game when it first came out, day one. I pre-ordered it. And I mean, I loved it, but there came a time where I had to pay rent, so I sold my Wii U because out of all the systems I had at the time, that was the one I played the least of. Um, and I just never went back and got another Wii U. Um, the reason for that is they announced the Switch when I was thinking about getting a Wii U, and I for sure, honestly, thought the Switch was actually going to have some sort of backwards compatibility at first, um, in one way, shape, or form. Not really backwards compatibility, but like they were going to bring over their games. And I was right for the most part for a lot of their games, like Hyrule Warriors came back over, which was another game I played a lot on my Wii U. It's actually the game I probably played the most overall. Probably the game I've played the most on my Switch as well. And tons of other games that I knew they were eventually going to port over, Captain Toad, which I eventually need to start recording so I could get those out because I ended up buying it, and it's actually pretty fun. But the one thing I thought was in the game were Bonsai Bills, but I guess not. So they're new, which is cool, and I'm glad they're adding them. And actually, my favorite version of the Bonsai Bill is in 3D World, which you'll see that shortly. But I'm really glad to see that they added the Bonsai Bill. But another one of my favorite new things is the dry bone shell. And I love that they took like the one turtle you weren't able to do anything with the shell, like other people. You can like put them as helmets and stuff like that. But this one allows you to ride on lava, which I thought was a really neat thing. I'm going to love to see what people do with it. This also allows you to prevent yourself from taking damage for so long. And I already see so many levels in my head being made from other people where it is going to be vital that you have that dry bone shell to get through the level, or you're just not. It's just not going to happen. So I'm excited to see it and see what people do with it. And the Kaizo opportunities are endless, even though I'm not a big fan of Kaizo myself. Kaizo to me is just another term for troll. Well, I guess that's not. I guess there's a difference between troll levels and Kaizo levels. Kaizo levels require like more ability in practice to do things, where troll levels are just kind of like, haha, you fucked up and went in this area you're not supposed to be in. But like I said, I am excited to see what people do with dry bone shells, and let's continue.
The 10 coin is worth, 10 coins. Find hard-to-reach areas and tempt players. Feeling charitable? Use the 30 or 50 coin.
Now, on one hand, this is the worst thing, in my opinion, that they've added. And I'll tell you why. In Super Mario Maker, the first one, it felt pointless to have coins in the game, period. Other than the fact just to have that natural Mario aesthetic, which I guess is good enough for reason to have it in it. But considering there's no like world build mode or anything like that, like, yeah, you could get coins and get 1-ups and levels, but once you're done with the level, it doesn't matter if you have the 1-up. It's not like you only have so many tries at a level to complete it. You've got as many as you want, other than in the 10-man Mario mode, which is another thing we'll talk about later. But the honest and truthful use of coins just felt pointless. And I'm hoping they add something in this game, even if it's just with the clothing options for your character, which we'll get to that later. Maybe have like a shop for you to use the coins that you earn in game and have a reason to collect the coins. Or the endless Mario mode that they're added you might benefit from actually collecting the coins. But just the 10, 20, and 30 coin thing just seems, in my opinion, the most pointless thing I like. They were just like, hey, let's add something useless that people like. It's like tempt people to go to this area. Well, I'm not even tempted to go out of my way for individual coins. What makes you think I'm going to be tempted to go get a 10, 20, or 30 coin piece? But I mean, using it as a chance to like show people there might be a hidden area is a good idea. I don't know. It's just not something that I was super like stoked about.
Mario may just be strolling along when a sudden sound effect plays. There are a bunch in Super Mario Maker 2. Stick one on an enemy, or perhaps go with something more sinister.
Okay, so the sound effects, I'm neither here nor there about. Again, when they added sound effects in the first one, I was super excited about it, but then I started playing people's levels. And some people use the sound effects really well and to good effect. Some people put so many of them in their levels it becomes annoying and kind of a nuisance. So I'm neither here nor there about the sound effects that they've added or that they haven't revealed yet or things like that. I like the sinister sounding one, which is kind of cool. But just for the most part, it's just another one of those features that I'm just like, like the stuff that they added that I'm just like, okay, they could have taken it, they could have left it. It's cool. Um, I mean, it'll be fun. Like I said, it'll be fun to see what people do with it. I don't know if it, I'm just not a big sound effects fan in general. This part kind of, it's exciting, but it makes me mad, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Pass a Joy-Con controller to a friend, and you can create a course together on a single screen. A little creative collaboration goes a long way.
Nintendo. I love you guys. I do. But the one thing people wanted to do the most was to be able to do that online. They want to be able to get with a friend who lives in another state or another country, and you two work together across seas to build a level. Right now, the only way we can do that, honestly, is to fully build a level, beat it, tell your friend about it, have them download it, have them edit what they think could be edited, and passing it back and forth that way. And while that's a creative and kind of cool way to do it, it doesn't allow interaction between the two people to work together to do it at once. It's kind of like one person does it and then the other person adds their touches and then it just goes back and forth until something's done. We as fans, like I said, just wanted to be able to do it live online. And it's cool that you added it for somebody that's side by side with you. I'm the only one I know in my general area that even gives a shit about this game. All of my other friends are so low on Nintendo and so high on Sony and Microsoft right now, they don't care one way or the other about Mario Maker. And that's what my problem with all of this is. Other than my kids, who might enjoy doing this, nobody else is going to want to sit beside me and make levels. Nobody. But I do know some people that I could play with online that would love to. So I'm hoping that this is one of those things that they reveal at E3. They're like, all right, we showed you this couch co-op, and here's what else we got, which is a very good possibility. Watched an interview with somebody not long ago where they were like, Nintendo's not the type to do that type of big reveal type thing at E3. They're going to let them know at this direct. And I'm in the exact opposite opinion. Nintendo is the one company I expect most to do big reveals within games at directs. I mean, E3 last year when they showed the details on that they did show on Smash Ultimate. Dude, there were so many big reveals on that alone. And then I know they did that, and then they went on to do more detail in another direct later. Whereas this one, they announced it at a previous one. This is their big detail trailer. But I still think there's going to be a small to medium amount of surprises revealed at the E3 Direct. I really do. It's just Nintendo's not the type to just sit back and let people wonder for too long. So I am expecting a bunch more things announced. I don't have any specifics. It's not like I'm expecting this announced and that announced. I'm just expecting them to announce something and more at E3. And I'm hoping online co-op building is one of them.
Collect 50 coins. Defeat all the dry bones. Reach the goal as Super Mario. You can set clear conditions, and there are a wide range to choose from.
The clear conditions is one of the coolest things that they've added because as it stands right now, it was just get through the level, get to the end, and you're done. This is going to add a level of challenge where it's like if there's so many enemies, you have to kill all, a specific amount of them, or you have to collect so many coins, and that's where having coins is going to be most useful. So once again, kind of backtracking on what I said earlier, I guess, if somebody has a goal for collecting so many coins, then the 10, 20, 30 coin thing will be useful. But in this instance, I love the idea of just adding more things that you have to complete to get through a level. It adds a level of complexity to it, and I love it.
Enemies to allies to items. A twister will suck up anything.
Also, I'm really glad that they added the twisters. They added the sun from the desert level, and then I was like, man, I wonder if they're going to add anything else. The twisters is nice. I'm glad that they added the twisters. Something I still haven't seen yet is like the little Goombas that are in blocks in the desert levels in 3 that like jump around. And sometimes they're not in blocks. They're just outside and they're just jumping around, which is, another thing. But it's just, again, I'm interested to see what other enemies that they didn't add from earlier games that they're finally going to add into this one.
Unsuspecting passersby will fall victim to
Icicles.
the icicle. Hey, conveyor belts can go diagonal too.
A lot of people think that the diagonal conveyor belts are ugly. I actually don't mind them. It's well, icicles again is something I could. It's cool they added. I could care less if it was in the game. But it's cool that they added them. But yeah, in this one you can actually see you have to eat 25 fish or kill 25 fish. That's cool. But no, yeah, it's the diagonal conveyors are a good idea. I'm glad that they're adding that in as well as slopes. Just excited to see where it goes.
Did you know red Yoshis breathe fire?
Another thing I was going to add into my top 10 things I'm either interested or concerned about. Red Yoshi. So they brought in Red Yoshi, which is super, super exciting. But it begs the question, what about blue and yellow? Are they going to add the flying Yoshi or the ground pound Yoshi? I hope they do. I hope it's not just Red Yoshi being added, even if it's like an update later. I really just, like I said, I want to see if they add the other two because it will add, again, another level of complexity for especially at Super Mario World, levels being made where you could do that type of thing. Like I said, I'm super excited for the Red Yoshi, probably more excited than I should be, but glad to see that they're doing it.
Parachutes slow down the falling speed of anything attached to them. Watch out for Boom Boom. The mad lad will chase after you.
Glad that they're adding Boom Boom. Makes you wonder if they're going to add the Koopa Kids. I don't remember the Koopa Kids being in the first one. I don't think they were. I hope they do add the Koopa Kids. That's another feature I'm super excited about.
Swinging his arms and legs. And there's still more to discover. If you're not sure how to use something, try out story mode.
Before we get into this, I'm going to actually let all of story mode play through, and then we'll talk about the story mode afterwards. This is one of the things I'm most concerned about and excited about. It's a weird emotion. So let's go ahead and jump in this.
In story mode, Mario sets out to help rebuild Princess Peach's castle, and to do so, he'll face an entire game's worth of courses in search of coins. Talk to the Taskmaster to accept a job from the bulletin board and play the associated course. If Mario can clear the course, he'll earn coins as a reward. Hey, rebuilding a castle ain't cheap. There are more than 100 original courses crafted by Nintendo in story mode, showcasing a variety of tools, course parts, and features. As you play, you'll see many examples of expert course design. As the castle's reconstruction progresses, Mario will be able to reach more areas in and around the construction site. The characters you meet in these new areas may even offer up additional jobs.
All right, story mode. Depraved, what's your problem with story mode? I don't really have a problem with story mode. I'm excited that they're adding it. And here's why. For the very, very few of you that this is your first Mario Maker experience, story mode is going to be a great opportunity to give you ideas on what kind of stuff you could do in Mario Maker. It's going to give you almost an introduction into the gameplay. However, I don't like the fact that they're calling a story mode, because when I think of a story mode, I think of something that is very themed and dramatic and things like that. Now, first, they don't even say how Peach's castle disappeared or broke down or whatever, which I don't expect them to. I think that's part of the surprise to the story mode. Here is my concern with story mode. My actual concern with story mode. I'm hoping it is not just 100 random levels that developers have made where there's no cohesion into what's going on in the story. In all Mario games, for the most part, there's kind of a cohesive, followed storyline throughout the game when you're playing it. Super Mario Brothers. You always started off in the plains. You knew you were looking for Peach. You start off in the plains. You get to the flag. You do an underground level. You go through the underground. You get to the flag. There were some water levels thrown in, and then castles at the end of it. And once you got to the castle, until you got to the very end of the game, Toad was always there to tell you the princess was in another castle. Super Mario Brothers 2, we're not even going to speak on. Super Mario Brothers 3, because Super Mario Brothers 2 really isn't a real true to form Mario game. It was actually Doki Doki Panic reskinned to have Mario in it. Although they did add some lifelong Mario characters from those games, which I'm hoping they add a few of them in this game. Anyways, then we proceed to Super Mario Brothers 3, which is set up as a stage show. And it's still very themed, except instead of having, like, you just go through the same series of levels, you've got little worlds that you go to. And then within those worlds, you had like 10 to 15 levels per world. There were ghost houses, castles, or airships. And then your individual levels, but they were all themed around something. Like, I think my favorite, was it World 5 or 4, maybe 6? I don't know. It was somewhere in there. It was like Big World, where everything that you ran into was a bigger version of itself, which is where the inspiration for taking a mushroom and giving it to an enemy on here came from. But everything kind of had a theme there, and then, like, you went and saved kings who were animals. You got the orb, you turned them from their animal form into their king form until you got to the princess and you saved the princess. Super Mario World, again, you had like the donut plains, which went into the, I don't think it was the desert. I don't remember what the next section was, or maybe the donut plains was the second. I don't remember. But then you like eventually go through the cave. You've got your Star World. You've got all these little different areas. Again, the levels are still themed within that area, and it felt like a progressive story. I just don't want this to be, oh hey, go to this level and do this for so many coins to add on to the castle. Go do this level. Go do that level. Like, I'm hoping the levels at least tie in cohesively with the story. Like, we need to build a ramp to get up to this area. Go to this level and complete this, and then the level has, a bunch of ramps. Like, that's what I want to see. If they're going to do a story mode like that, that's how I want to see it go. I just don't want 100 randomly made progressively difficult levels throughout the thing. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like an empty story with no real purpose. And there's nothing worse than an empty story with no real purpose. Like, if the purpose is only as an introduction to get people to show them the type of stuff you could do in this game, they could have done without the story mode and just said, hey, here's 100 levels to play to give you ideas. That's it. Instead of tying some weak story around it. So I'm hoping, like I said, there's just a cohesive story that goes along with it. Course themes, one of my favorite sections, as always with Mario Maker. Well, I guess there's only 2 Mario Maker games, but yeah, let's go.
New sequel, new course themes. Desert. Snow. Forest. And sky. There's new music, too, written by veteran Super Mario composer Koji Kondo. Who else could capture the classic sound of the Super Mario series? We've also got a new course part that makes these course themes even more fun.
All right, so for this section, they just announced 4 new themes. It was like snow, forest, sky, and ice. I'm excited for all of them but one, and that's ice. And the only reason I'm not excited for ice, and this is just a personal gripe of mine, I don't like ice levels. I just, in Mario games, I don't like the slippery floor and what it does and the complications it adds to things. Although I do feel like it needed to be in the game. I mean, it's kind of a staple of Mario games. But I am super stoked for all 4 of them. Not all 4 of them. I'm super stoked for 3 of them. With the known necessity of the 4th, and I'm happy that they added more themes. I'm a little interested to see if there's ever a 3, what other themes they could add, because I mean they've kind of covered everything. I almost feel like this is like Super Mario Maker 2 Ultimate or some shit like that. But yeah, the themes that they added, it's good that they added them, and a very solid addition to the game.
The moon. Tap this icon here and day becomes night. If you hit the angry sun, Mario will lose a life. But if you hit the moon, you'll wipe out a screen full of enemies. At night, expect a surprise or two, depending on the theme. In the ground theme, Goombas will float. The underground.
So we're going to stop here in between these. First off, the addition of the moon is amazing. The fact that they even thought of this, whoever's brainchild this was deserves a raise. Okay, so they added the moon, which all of a sudden, now there's a night version of every theme, which is fantastic. And here they're about to go into what the night theme does to each area. So first off, starting off, you've got the ground, and what the ground does is it causes Goombas to float, which is cool, kind of unnecessary, not really sure exactly how that's going to play into anything creation-wise, other than a cool visual aesthetic. But, like right here, Underground Night, the fact that you're going to be able to play upside down, and I think they did this because a lot of people loved those sections on Mario Odyssey, and this is actually going to make, there's going to be people that do entire levels on this alone and make them Kaizo levels and things like that. And it is going to add a whole new level of challenge to Mario Maker levels. It's just going to be insane. And I'm excited to see the ideas that people come up with for this.
The ground will turn upside down. In a ghost house, the lights will dim.
So Ghost House Night, I'm a little surprised that this wasn't already, they didn't already have like a feature for this specifically in the first Mario Maker. Just having the spotlight where you can't really see far ahead of what's going on is going to make some people's ghost houses a little harder. Quite a bit harder depending on what they do. It's going to be fun to see what they do with it though. But yeah, I'm glad that's what they chose with that.
And in the sky, gravity itself will be reduced. The desert will get hit by a sandstorm.
All right, so the addition of the decreased gravity in the sky is cool. It'll be interesting to see what people do with that. Glad they added it. The desert night, where it adds the sandstorm, which is what they're getting ready to talk about. It's a cool aesthetic, but I want to know how it's going to affect gameplay. That's one of the few that I don't think really feels like just seeing it is really fully affecting gameplay. I mean, I guess if the sandstorm's kicking in, it's going to make it harder to move forward, which I guess is cool. But it'll be more interesting to see what they do with that at a later time. So let's continue.
While the terrain of the snow theme will become really slippery, and the forest's usually pleasant waters will be as poisonous as they come. Rumor has it that some items will even transform into something else come nightfall. Once you've unlocked the night versions of themes, you don't have to place the moon course part to use them.
So, the ice level being even more slippery than it already is going to annoy the hell out of me, but I understand why they did that. And the poison level rising in the forest was really cool. And I love the fact that you can unlock the night feature down the line without needing the moon there, which I thought was a very excellent thing. Here is my new question that comes from all this, and this is actually something I just thought of. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. What does night version do to the castles? Whether it be the ships or Koopa's castle or the castles in the other versions. I just want to know what it does to the castles in terms of what effects it's going to have, because that's the only one that wasn't touched on. So, like I said, I'm super excited about that. Let's continue.
The Super Mario 3D World game style is finally available.
We're going to stop here. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but I just want you to know there's an open space next to Super Mario 3D World. That's not on accident.
The way this game style works is very different from the other game styles, so the course you're working on will clear if you toggle between them. That's because there are things you can do here that you can't do in any other style. You can't mention Super Mario 3D World without Cat Mario. Climbing walls, scratching, sliding, pouncing. With all these moves at your disposal, the courses you create will instantly stand apart from courses made in the other game styles. You can even climb up the goal pole. These clear pipes can be placed in any shape you like. Be careful though, enemies will make use of them as well. Crates float on water and lava, so you can make your own path when there's no platform to walk on. If you come in contact with a warp box, you won't be able to escape its pull. You may get warped to an area full of enemies. Consider yourself warned. Better not touch the spike block. You could combine it with the on-off switch to set traps like this one too. The exclamation mark block extends when hit. Ground pound to expand it faster. Blinking blocks phase in and out. Make sure to carefully time those jumps. The track block will follow any path you draw. The blue one won't move until you step on it. The mushroom trampoline yields a satisfying bounce. The piranha creeper will extend wherever you draw. Watch out for its spiky stem. Skip Squeaks like to try and match Mario's jumps. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage. Take this sweet ride for a spin to really tear through the course. Just try not to crash it. Drive safely now. Beware the Lord of Lava, Charvard. This monster's obsessed with gobbling up Mario. Pom Pom smoke bombs onto the scene. This ninja's mastered the art of a doppelganger. Which one's the real one?
I would guess the real one's the one with the green
bonsai
beret on
door
her
from
head.
Super Mario
Or
3D
green,
World
ribbon.
can actually fly toward the screen.
I love that.
It's so powerful, it can break through walls. Many other familiar faces from Super Mario 3D World will liven up this game style as well.
All right, Super Mario 3D World, pros and cons. I've got quite a few of both. I love it. Aesthetically, the things you can do. What I dislike the most is the things from that game cannot be combined with any other game. I get why they did that. Because it is a far more vastly different game. But the problem is, it's also technically a 3D game. So they took a 3D game concept, converted it into a side scroller. And if you could convert it into a side scroller, you can convert its elements into the other games. And half the fun of what made Mario Maker 1 so amazing is seeing all the different ways the newer things translated to the older things translated to the new, and seeing the mixture of the two together. That's what one of my favorite aspects of Mario Maker 1 was. And I mean, we're still getting that because all those games are still included. But as they said earlier in this section, once you've got something created in one or the other, if you switch styles, it's going to erase your course. And they do that because the elements of both are different. I would have loved to have seen some of those enemies in another format. And that's my biggest complaint with 3D World. It's really my only real complaint with 3D World being included is 3D World is literally only going to have 3D World aspects to it. You're not going to be able to combine them unless it was included in 3D World to begin with. So, like I said, I would have loved to have had the clear pipes in other games. And there's things they could have changed to make it work, and it would have still been fine, and people would have still loved it. Actually, people would have loved it more. With that being said, if they're going this route, like they are, I fully expect there will be at least one other extra creator added. Because as you can see, there's a space next to the first one. And I'm telling you guys, Nintendo is not the type of people to just leave it open like that. They're either going to add DLC later, or they just haven't announced it yet. It'll be announced at E3. As a matter of fact, one of my predictions for E3 is they are going to announce another special thing. And I think they'll add extra special things later it's possible. But the question is, which Mario do they add? The one I seem to see requested the most is Super Mario Bros. 2. I don't agree with this one personally because I think if you're going to do something that is its own style, it should not be something as simple as Super Mario Bros. 2. And like I said, and a lot of that is just because Super Mario Bros. 2 isn't really a Mario game. It is a Doki Doki Panic game, and they just added the Mario paint to it. As a matter of fact, I don't even really like that game. So then the next question is, all that really leaves is 3D Mario stuff to add. And then it's not even so much just 3D, then it's just going to be more 3D iterations transformed into a 2D platform. And you're right, 100% right. Which one do I think would work best in the core of this game's mechanics? Or do I think would be most interesting? So the games that come to mind offhand are Super Mario Sunshine, which is the one of all these that I've played the least of, because I never owned a GameCube. I never bought a GameCube, didn't want a GameCube. At the time I was a PS2 diehard, then eventually I became an Xbox diehard. And I know a lot of you guys loved it for whatever reason. I hated the GameCube controller and still do to this day. I will not play on it. So there's Sunshine, which like I said, I just don't know much about. You got Nintendo 64, Mario 64, which I think would be everybody's number 2. Everybody has this affinity for Mario 64. I actually think it's one of the worst in the 3D outings. Granted, it's their first. I get it. And I understand the nostalgia to it. But even when it came out on N64 and I got it, I was not a fan of it. It wasn't terrible. The camera was. But I personally love the side-scrolling Mario games more, usually, more than the 3D ones. There's one exception. We'll get to that in a minute. Most people would want the Mario 64. Then you got Mario Galaxy. I don't think Mario Galaxy would really work all that well in a 2D format. And the reason why I say that is because on Mario Odyssey, there's actually sections where you have to go into 2D worlds. And you do the 2D thing, and then like there were a couple that were gravity based. It was almost like Mario Galaxy where you have to jump in and around, and those were the like least fun moments for me in terms of playing the 2D versions in Odyssey. Which brings me to my next thing. Mario Odyssey, if you're going to go another 3D route, Mario Odyssey would be the one I would want to see most, because if you're going to make this a mode where you're not going to incorporate the things from it into the rest of the games, I think Mario Odyssey makes the best choice out of all those because of all the different things you could do in a Mario Odyssey. It'd be fun to see what they allowed you to do with Cappy in a 2D plane, who you'd be able to take over, and what kind of puzzles you'd be able to create. And I think that'd work really well. So if I was to go on a 3D prediction, like if I was to say they were going to go with another 3D game, I would definitely want it to be Odyssey. Odyssey is the one 3D game I think is better than most of the 2D side scrollers. Odyssey is my second favorite Mario game of all time, behind Super Mario Bros. 3. And for those of you wondering where Super Mario World is, it's my number 3. What I don't think people have thought about, though, is if they're going to add another one that has its own unique features, I think the best fit for this game is Paper Mario. I think they could do some Paper Mario levels and do them very well. The only downside I could see to a Paper Mario level is Paper Mario has a bunch of things where it's real easy, like you turn sideways and then the world turns sideways and you get a different view on it. And I don't think you could really pull that off in a Maker video game. That's really the only thing. But if I was to go for one of the other 2D side-scrolling ones that I think would fit best, it would be Paper Mario. However, 3D-wise, Odyssey, of the two, I personally prefer Odyssey. Like I said, I would love to see what they do with Cappy and the additions to all that. And I do think if they were to make one, that would be the one they would go for, because that is their most successful recent-to-memory Mario game besides Mario Maker itself. Nintendo Switch Online, what you got for us?
Course World is an online hub where players from around the world can share their carefully crafted courses.
That's normal.
Browse by popular courses, or new courses, or run a search to find what you're looking for.
I love that.
For example, search by tags like...
I love the tags. As you see here, standard, puzzle solving, speed run, or puzzle solving, because that's a fucking word. Standard, puzzle solving, speed run, auto scroll, auto Mario, short and sweet, multiplayer versus, themed, music, and none. The reason why I like this, and this is where the themed one excites me, because it's going to be fun to see what themed is and what people use themed for. It's literally my only glimmer of hope of amiibos in this game. We'll get to that at the end when I do my final thoughts. But I love the fact that they have tags. I would love for them to either add a custom tag option so people can custom tag things, or at least add a Kaizo option, because I know a lot of people are going to look for Kaizo, and I have a feeling Kaizo is going to be found mostly in puzzles. Like, they're going to be spread throughout all of these. I would love a Kaizo specific thing so I could avoid it. Yeah, I am super excited and happy that they added the tags. I thought it was a very well done ad, and hopefully, like I said, they just add more tags that you can use. It'd be nice. I love you can select by region. I will definitely constantly probably do mostly Americas, because the people in other countries are just insane with half the stuff that they create. Now, there's some American people that do some crazy shit too, but more so there than here.
Puzzle solving. Or maybe find some auto-scroll courses. Play
I
a
love the
course,
ability to add
and you can leave
comments
a
as well.
comment if they're enabled. If you download a course, you can play it anytime, even when you're not connected to the internet. In Course World, each player has a maker profile. If other players like your courses, you'll earn maker points. But on top of being successful, why not be stylish? Customize your look with things like shirts and hats that you unlock by completing various objectives.
Now, see, I thought that was cool, but it worries me that it's in the game, and I'll tell you why at the end, because it kind of all ties in together into a overall issue that I have with the game, as well as Endless Challenge will also tie into all that.
Test your skills by trying to clear as many courses as possible before you get a game over. Select a difficulty, and courses will be queued up at random from the full collection available on Course World. Secure some truly impressive scores, and you might earn a top spot on the leaderboards. On top of that, there's a new mode in Super Mario Maker 2 that'll let you play together with others.
We all knew that was coming.
In Course World, you can enjoy multiplayer with other players from around the world. In multiplayer versus mode, up to
The multiplayer versus and co-op modes are a nice add. I can see why they did it. It adds definitely the ability to play with your friends. But it's another feature I could either take or give. I'm not going to play it much because I don't really know too many people that are going to want to play stuff together like this. And it's going to be really hard to test when creating levels that are created for multiplayer purposes. It's just going to be, because unless you can actually add people, like 3 other people help you build the level. And again, if you do that, you're forced to have to do it with people sitting next to you. This is why online would work great, where 4 people could get together, help each other create a course for network play, for multiplayer play online, and actually make the course work right. Like, you know how many times people are going to create courses, get ideas from other people, change it up, test it out, put it online. And there's some courses where you're not even going to be able to make them and put them online, come to think of it, because you need multiple people to test it. And since you can't get other people online to help you test it, you have to rely on your friends, and you can't upload unless you complete a level. If you want to make levels where it actually takes full-blown co-op, where certain things here do certain things there, so forth and so on, to go back, like, you can't set up stuff where people can get trapped. It's aggravating. It really is. Especially if you can't, like it's going to be so hard creating and uploading multiplayer levels. It really is.
4 players face off in a side-scrolling showdown. Each player will be assigned a different character. Then they'll race each other in a randomly selected course. The player who clears the course first wins. Depending on your win-loss ratio, your versus rating will change. Playing it safe is no way to win in a white-knuckle course like this one. Watch the others eat your dust as you escape an extreme obstacle. But when a boss comes around, you may want to put your differences aside. Maybe you can get away with sitting back and stealing all the credit at the end.
I thought that was a
During
neat thing.
multiplayer, there are strategies to consider that would never come up during solo play. In multiplayer co-op mode, on the other hand, all players must work together to beat the course. If a single player finishes it, everyone's a winner. If up to 4 players are hanging out together and each has a Nintendo Switch system and the Super Mario Maker 2 game, one can set up a virtual room for the others to join via nearby play. Only the player who makes the room needs a persistent internet connection for everyone to play. You won't be rated in this mode, but you can check out the standings. By the way, if you've designed a course with Versus Play in mind, consider using the Multiplayer Versus tag. It's a great way to help players who love to battle it out find what you've made. New parts, new challenges, new modes, and lots of new ways to have fun. Super Mario Maker 2 will come down the pipe on June 28th.
All right, so final thoughts. Again, guys, I'm not trying to persuade you one way or the other. This is a game I'm excited for. I think everybody should get it. I'm going to play the hell out of it. I'm hopefully going to do a lot of things on my channel for it. Here are some additional concerns with everything that we watched towards the end. There's a reason I was quiet. These were at the top of my stuff that concerns me. So, make sure you guys can hear me. The issue I've got with number one issue. There has yet to be any announcement of amiibos involved in this game at all, amiibo costumes. And the reason why this concerns me is when they first announced big things about the first game, the amiibo costumes was one of the most highly talked about features. Yes, it was a bummer that it was only included in the original Super Mario Bros. Game for the NES, but it was there. And when it came out and the game came out, there were so many amiibo costumes to unlock. You could play with those amiibo costumes, and people made themed levels based off the costumes alone. You know how many like very closely done true-to-form versions of Zelda games and Metroid levels and things like that I've come across that were just outstanding because of all of this. And if they leave amiibo costumes out, I think it's going to be a huge hit to the game. Negative hit, not like a positive, like, hey, that's a hit. No, I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be very bad. I don't think they will. I think they're waiting for E3 to announce it. I really do. But there are some things that have pointed to them not including them in the game that worries me. Now we're going to get into those. The first thing is the way you unlocked amiibo costumes in the first game. There was one of two ways. The first one being you went through and you played the 10-man or 100-man Mario easy, normal, hard mode. At the end of the mode, once you completed it, you unlocked an amiibo costume. They took those modes out of the game. Flat out took them out. And now there's this endless Mario. And without an actual end to endless Mario, unless they have it to where if you complete so many levels, you unlock a Mario costume, and maybe if you play endless mode and you get to like level 60, you unlock maybe 6 amiibo costumes instead of just one, because a lot of people aren't going to want to go that far just to get one costume if that's what they're playing the endless mode for. Like, I didn't really enjoy 10 or 20 or 100-man Mario easy, normal, hard. I thought they were boring. And there was just way too much random opportunity to run into things. There's also, the other way to unlock amiibo costumes was they held special events. And what the special events were, and these were like the special, just like, these costumes were added to the game and you unlocked them by doing something special in the event. Like, there was one for like, who was it? Was it Rolls-Royce or Mercedes? I think it was Mercedes. It was one of those car companies where you unlocked a car by playing a level, and you got the car in the level you played, and it eventually unlocked the car for you once you beat it. And then like there were additional costumes of characters from other games and stuff that were added in these special events. And while I think they're still going to do special events, I'm worried about what these special events are for, which is going to lead me to my next thing. If you're taking out the amiibos to give me a chance to create my own me, I don't want it. Because I can't play with my me. No matter how many cool different costumes you give me, there's nothing I'm doing with that me. All that me is for is when people come to look at my profile, they go, hey, look, his guy has no legs. He has a rocket for legs and a cool t-shirt. I don't go into people's profiles to see what their avatar looks like. I don't care about avatars. Avatars are pointless in something like, especially in something like this. You're not playing with them. And if you're going to give me events to unlock additional costumes, I don't want them either. I would rather have the amiibos. Like, I fully thought that they were going to take the amiibo concept for the first game and amp it up and include the costumes in all the titles. So you can still play with like a Samus character look or a Zelda character look or whatever in this new Super Mario Brothers or in Mario Brothers 3 or Mario World. Like, that's what I thought they were going to do, but they're not. Or I won't say they're not because they haven't revealed everything. The game's not out yet. They could still do that. But that's what I thought the next step with Amiibos is, and I would have much rather had that than the chance to customize my me or we character. I'm pretty sure it's a me. I don't care about that feature. And the Endless Mario mode may be the one mode where collecting coins has a point. If collecting coins actually gets you extra lives, then it might be worth collecting coins for that mode. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm still super excited about this game. I'm going to get it regardless. I'm going to play it. I'm going to have fun. But I loved the amiibo costume. I love the themed worlds people came up with it. And that is like why seeing themed as one of the tags is like my only glimmer of hope right now that they have them in the game. Overall, I'm super excited about the game. Speaking of tags, something else I hope they add is when playing Endless Mario mode, I hope you can actually set tags that you're looking for your Endless Mario mode. I mean, if I'm not going to get anything worth a damn to unlock anyways, at least give me the option to try and filter out some of the shit I don't want to have to deal with. And what I mean by that is there are so many... Like, I want an option if I'm going into Endless Mario mode where I can say, I'm looking for these specific kinds of levels. I don't want these kind of levels. And granted, they still might throw in a couple of these just randomly, sporadically to make things a little challenging, which they should. But I just don't want 10 Kaizo levels in a row when I'm not a big fan of Kaizo personally that I have to try and go through in Endless mode just to get to the one traditional style Mario level. And that's what I'm hoping another feature they do with tags is. They probably won't. I just think they're still going to go randomly, maybe with adjusting difficulty. But with that being said, I think that's the end of my thoughts and worries. I had a list of worries, but it's on my computer, and I don't want to be screen flipping through things. But yeah, like, I'm excited for the game. I cannot wait for it to drop. It is my most anticipated game this year, as it was a few years ago when Mario Maker originally came out. My plan is to try and have it day one. I just don't know financially if I'm going to be able to make it happen. I hope I can. It's just living on my own now. Like, I lived with my mom for a couple months. I lived with my brother for a few years before that, and I was splitting bills with people, so I was able to afford most of the games that I wanted. And now I'm just in a situation where I'm paying all these bills now on my own. And I just don't have an opportunity to go out and spend money on games hardly at all anymore. So we'll see about getting Mario Maker. I'll eventually get it one way or the other. But yeah, if you guys liked this video, be sure to slash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Comment down below your thoughts, concerns, things you're excited for. Maybe I'm just a pessimistic asshole. Which I'm not. I'm actually pretty optimistic. I think the game is going to be amazing regardless of if they took the whole amiibo thing out or not. It's just going to be a huge hole that I feel for me because I love the themed levels so much. And the Donkey Kong levels people made were fucking hilariously fun and great as well. But I'm digressing. Leave your comments down below. Thank you all for watching, and I cannot wait to see you depraved people later. Take care.